Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress live Wednesday night podcast. If you are seeing this face, you know what time it is. We will be highlighting another amazing resource or company that helps out the disability or elder communities. So, tonight we have a fabulous show for you. We are talking home mobility pros with Mr. Matt McGuire. Welcome, Matt, to the show.
Hey Tina, how are you?
Good. Long time no see. I can't wait to hear all the updates and everything and find out what's good. But for all of those people who live under a rock and have not heard about you yet, please tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Good evening, everybody. So, Home Mobility Pros, we're a full service contractor and we specialize in bathrooms with accessibility being the main focus. And we help people that are in all walks of life, whether you're just looking to redo your bathroom, early on in your, 50s, 60s, 70s, on down. If you're going to do it once. So we provide a little bit of insight into what that means and what that means for your future.
That's great. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn my phone volume off, so it was
No
going off.
worries.
When you're live, these are the things that happen.
I
It's
like
always
it.
good. So continue on. Tell everybody a little bit. What is Home Mobility Pros specialize in? Like, what is your cup of tea?
Yeah, so when we're looking at the bathroom in particular, which is our main focus, we're looking at a bunch of different opportunities to make things accessible, and really it comes down to the first conversation. What are your goals? So everybody has different goals that they want to achieve when they're redoing their bathroom or any space in their home. And what we bring to the table is just maybe a unique look at that to say that, hey, you know what? Maybe you don't need these things for accessibility now, but it's something to consider if your goal is to stay in your home. So if you're staying in your home, I mean, into and beyond retirement, some people even straight up tell us, hey, I want to die in my home. So if that's the case, then planning ahead and doing your bathroom, like I said earlier, doing it once is very important. And we are the professionals that will be able to consult with you the whole way through to make sure that you understand every in and out of what those decisions are going to be and how it's going to affect you now and into the future.
That's great. And now, do you only do bathrooms? Because I know you do more than bathrooms.
We do it all. We're basically anything interior. So, widening doorways, kitchens. We've even, done decks. We've done it all. But we really, when you think of us, we're construction oriented. We have a lot of great partners that we work with. That if someone comes to us and they need equipment, we refer them out, and it's a great referral source because, as you know, it's so important to have people that you work with that you trust and that are going to call people back and do right by them. And so when folks call us and it's not something that we do, so again, I asked them what, trying to figure out what their goal is. What are they trying to accomplish? Sometimes that could be an immediate need, that they need something now. And as a construction company, maybe that's not the right fit for us. So it might be something on the equipment side where we can refer them out. And sometimes they might call one of our referral partners and have a need that is more in our wheelhouse. And it really comes down to taking care of those folks, really listening to what they're trying to accomplish, and then executing and delivering them a great experience.
It's so true. Working together, we are stronger together, and referring each other out to stay everybody in their own wheelhouse and what they specialize in is so important, especially in our community. But you're not hurting anybody else's feelings if you're getting other quotes or you're using another dealer or you're checking into something, because again, they might not be the specialized in what you need. It all depends on what comes down. Now, you do free assessments, correct?
We do. And sometimes we go out together and do dual free assessments to give someone an option, whether it's, a chairlift to the second floor or an elevator or something like that, versus, hey, I want to maybe I'll put a new bathroom on the first floor, which is what we do. So there's a lot of consideration in cost, longevity, and the whole nine yards, but it really comes down to, again, listening to what are their goals, What are they trying to accomplish? What's the situation now? And what do they think they're going to be in the future? And again, that doesn't mean that someone is 100%, you know, in a situation where they're in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. It could be a temporary situation, but it could be something that is temporary that turns into more of a gradual permanent situation. So there's all kinds of things to consider. And when we're talking to those folks, we want to make sure that they understand, the pros and cons to each approach. And of course, that's something that, we all need to understand whether or not there is some kind of situation where you need full accessibility at this point in your life, or if even if you don't, but if you're going to consider doing renovations and you're going to want to live in your home for the rest of your life or for a significant period of time, you know, those are the things that you want to make sure you understand fully.
And you can also prepare for guests or people that you have that might come to your house, your elderly parents or grandparents or whatever. One thing I want to mention is the biggest compliment I usually get when people come to my home is your bathroom doesn't look accessible. Like, why? Because it is beautiful. My bathroom, I have a specially made sink that my wheelchair fits right under. I have a roll-in shower, but you would never know it unless you pulled the curtain back. Like my bathroom has bars in it, but the bars in it are beautiful. They're not the old, silver hospital looking, you can make your bathroom or your room look beautiful and accessible at the same time. There is so much more out there. And if you're going to do the reservation, if you need a new bathroom, make it accessible because
Yeah.
you or somebody and I can come visit if you make it accessible. So make it accessible. So talk a little bit about that, how the times have changed and, it's not that old accessibility that people are thinking of.
Yeah, and that's it comes down to that planning ahead too. So when people are coming, if someone's coming to your home and they need access, I mean, nothing really awakens people more than when they have an injury. And I met somebody who just tore their ACL and MCL. And I first, after we had pleasantries, I said, I bet you looked at your house completely different than you did before. And she said, yes, I did. And let me tell you, the shower in particular, and I didn't even prompt her that that's what we did. And she said that was a main challenge. And she made a great joke about how she needed her husband to help her in the shower, and he was like, "Oh, no problem." and and I was like, "Oh, okay, where's this going?" But when you look at your shower and you're doing any kind of remodeling, a lot of people, they're obsessed with, I want to put glass doors on, or I want to do custom tile. So if you're going to do that, and you're gonna go that route, well, there's a couple things you want to consider. So one of them is, making sure you kind of make that bathroom more of a wet space so that the subfloor is no longer, if you're going to redo the whole thing, make sure that's Durock, which is cement board. And then you want to make sure that there's a waterproof membrane, because if you do, eventually, if you're saying, hey, I want to do custom tile, and it's not going to be completely barrier free, and you're going to have the lip and you're going to have the glass doors. Well, what happens if you do need to break that down and make it as low as, barrier free? So you want to look at that and say, all right, if I take if you put it down as low as you can, maybe that will be helpful, and maybe that will be enough if you need to add grab bars to get in there. Maybe you can take down those shower doors, and maybe that in a grab bar is enough. But if it's not enough and you do need to take down that lip and make that floor completely roll in, well, when you're in that process, save the tile, get extra tile. So you have the same dye lot, you keep it down in your basement. So if you do need to redo that pan and you need to do all that, you have the tile ready to go. And therefore you're not playing games trying to match and accent and do all these other things to make it look like it was not an afterthought. Um, the other thing is, when we do showers, when we talk to people that are obsessed with shower doors and lips and the whole nine yards, we have a system that we put in where the lip can actually be removed and it can become a barrier-free shower. So if you're, again, obsessed with glass doors and we can't talk you out of it, you put that lip down and it's semi-permanent and it can be removed along with the doors and make it a completely roll-in shower. So we love offering that to our clients that are looking for something that will benefit them long term. And again, it comes down to those goals and what you're trying to do with your life, because you never know, as you know, when life can change on a dime. And those are the things that you hate to see people spend all this money to redo a space as expensive as a bathroom is, to just have to go and do it all over again.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, shower doors, I don't know why anybody wants them. That's my personal opinion. Because if you're taking care of somebody, if you're taking care of a child or an elder parent or something, and they have to move in with you, or they have to come stay with you for a while, or somebody who just got hurt, you can't get in there and help them. If they slip or fall, shower doors are the hardest thing to maneuver around to get them out of there. That there are so many beautiful ways to do your bathroom without shower doors. That's just my personal opinion, but I'll tell you the tile choices, the design and everything. One of these days I'm going to post a picture of my bathroom. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I keep forgetting to do it. But like I said, you would never know my bathroom, other than the fact that you know I'm in a wheelchair, that my bathroom is fully accessible. And it was built by Habitat for Humanity. So, it wasn't overly expensive, because nothing Habitat does is overly expensive. But you can do it, and you should be doing it, because again, you never know when you're going to break your knee, need a hip replacement, fall down, or have a parent stay with you where you're going to need those accommodations. Tell us a little bit of the accommodations that can be made for a kitchen.
So for a kitchen, there's a lot of what I call bells and whistles that can happen. So first off, the owner and I, Mike and I, we both worked at a nonprofit called Homes for Our Troops, and we built custom homes nationwide for the most severely injured veterans that were post 9/11. And the home was completely accessible. And the kitchen, which Mike and I ended up designing, we had all kinds of different things. Obviously the countertops are lower, the kick plates are higher, there's roll under sections for your cooktop, for your sink, workspaces on an island. So if you're blessed to have the space, it's imperative to have as much room as possible so you can cook independently, or whenever you have family over, they all congregate in the kitchen area, whether someone's cooking for everybody, they all stand around and just, it's weird, everybody just, I do it too, we all just stand around and watch. We like, it's like the gathering spot, and you're in everybody's way. But if you're in need of that accessibility and you're in a wheelchair, you've got to have that space to turn around and get around. And that's a challenge in a lot of houses, that are older, of course. And that's when you're tearing down walls to maybe make space and make something bigger. But the roll under cooktops in general, I mean, generally speaking, I'd say gas is a tough one to do. As you roll underneath there, they have some great conduction cookware and things like that. You can do the conduction oven, and cooktop and all that, which can be a real game changer for people, especially people with kids too. Where it doesn't, you can't burn yourself on it. There's the roll under sink aspect. You definitely can benefit from having roll under sink, but there is the challenge of depth of that sink. So that's something you need to consider as well, because an ADA sink is very shallow. So if you're rolling underneath that, it's something to really think about and consider, and you might want to, make some concessions there. Then in the cabinetry, that's one of the favorite bells and whistles that I like to see is, there's pull down cabinets from a company called Rev-A-Shelf that has a lot of great accessibility related products. They also have what's called a peg drawer system. So if you're lucky enough to have some pullouts where you put plates and bowls and heavy things up top, normally you can put those down lower. So if you're, vertically challenged, let's put it that way, is that PC, AKA short, you will, you'll benefit from that. And, in having those lower and not having to raise your arms up to pull those things down or put those things up. The other thing is the blind cabinet spaces, everything that goes in the way back zone and gets lost, like Tupperware and things like that. They have some great hidden, you know, space type lazy Susan type things that go in and allow you to really access every inch of that cabinetry. Um, so there's
Every
a lot of
corner
cool things.
cabinet, yeah. Every corner cabinet that I have, I cannot live without my Lazy Susans. They are a game changer. But the important part is for every person, their kitchen needs to be modified to them. There are ovens that open to the side. I don't personally like them. They don't work for me. With my kick plate and stuff, I like the ovens that open down. Some people like the knobs in the front, some people with kids like the knobs in the back, but it's hotter. Making sure your stove is near your sink. So like when you're boiling water for pasta, you can one flip into the sink without having to move the pan along the countertop and trying to move your chair along the way with you. So it's all in the mat. And the biggest thing is making sure your refrigerator door opens the right way to where I have like this C-shaped kitchen, and when they put my refrigerator in, they opened my kitchen door out to where the table was. Well, that's great, but when I'm in the middle of the C where my sink and my stove are, the door opened the wrong direction. Like that was so difficult. I'm like, I called somebody. I'm like, I know these drawers switch. Flip my door
Oh
because it
yeah,
doesn't work for me. And
the
that's what you
layout
need
is
to
so
do.
important.
Yeah, as you go along, you need to modify the things in your kitchen that work for you.
Yeah.
Now, do you come back and make some minor changes and stuff like that if people, you know what I mean? They had to have this, but it's not working for them.
Well, yeah, those conversations with any project are ongoing. So that's one of the things that I think people need to, you know, you know, I with us anyway, just kind of quell their anxiety is that it's a conversation. So once you get an estimate, it's really about this is what we think we want to do here, but there's changes all the time, and sometimes those changes can increase the price, obviously. And those conversations with a good general contractor are being had to say, here's what this change is going to do. Could it benefit you? Is definitely one of those considerations of that goal conversation that you need to have. But it could go the other way too, where you have some changes and say, hey, what if we don't do this cockamamie idea I had? And yeah, well, that could save you some money, because the biggest thing with any of these remodels is it's really labor. Cabinetry obviously is very, very expensive. If you're doing it, you got to do it right. And with cabinetry, when people don't spend the money on cabinetry, and I'm not saying you need to break the bank and back the Brinks truck up for it. It's just, you will see it sooner rather than later that you and realize that you spend a ton of money on a kitchen, and really it's not going to last that long. So you want to look at warranties, you want to look at quality of materials, and really understand, again, your lifestyle makes a huge difference. So if you've got kids, dogs, a power wheelchair, I mean, these are the things you need to consider when you're talking about cabinetry, flooring, vanities, you name it, and all these things to be able to support whatever lifestyle you live. Because you want to do something, you want to do it once. So those are the things that you need to be talking with your contractor about to make sure that you're on the same page with the expectation of how long and how well this is going to be maintained.
Yeah, it's so true. It's a big difference between a power wheelchair and a manual wheelchair. I needed to get a solid wood floating floor that was going to hold the weight of my power chair going around. Tile and stuff like that you glue down. Doesn't work for me because wear and tear with my wheelchair. I would kick up tiles constantly or kick up the linoleum or whatever. It doesn't work. You need something that's going to be solid, that's going to hold up. Throw rugs, forget it. Do not use them. They're just in the way. But again, it's the cabinetry, it's the lazy Susans, it's the appliances that you put in there as well, that people who are going out of their way, if they know and they want to buy you something to celebrate, make sure you're doing something adaptable. Like I'll tell you, I must have had like 5 trash cans when I came in. Everybody wanted to buy me a trash can. I don't know why, but none of them I could use because they all bought me the trash can where you had to put your foot on the bottom that flip the
Oh,
top up.
perfect.
And I'm
Excellent.
like, all right, people, you all bought me a trash can. Everybody tell me which one can I use? It's like none of them. I had to get one that you wave your hand over the top of and the top opens
Yeah,
because obviously my feet don't work, so I can't step on them. So these
right.
are the type of things that like I can't be near a microwave because of the machinery that I have in my body. So I have a voice
Mm,
activated microwave. I can get it set and then I can roll away from it far enough away where I say, okay, start or end, where it's adaptable. These things are out there. So make sure you're looking at these things because they are there for your convenience. And I'm sure Matt and Mike can show you some of those things too, because they're not going to just do the basics. They want you to like them forever. So,
yeah.
which you're going to love them forever, but they're going to walk you through all of this stuff. So make sure that you're asking for adaptability throughout because there is that stuff that's out there.
Oh yeah, and we've had people that swear by the talking Japanese toilets that will do your taxes for you and everything else. And I mean, there's the difference between pros and cons of something like that versus there's I mean, there's a $40 bidet if that's the way you want to go, that can work just as well. So there's all kinds of different things out there, and of course, again, it comes down to those goals and what you're trying to accomplish. But sometimes technology is only good when it works, and so
Yeah.
you need to have what's that backup plan if this doesn't if this for whatever reason has an issue. Is there a manual override? Is What's my backup plan? And those things sometimes can add only just frustration to somebody that is just trying to make their life easier. And of course, nothing is built the way they used to and all that. We hear that all the time, but it's really, you got to do your research on the products, and you really that's where we are very helpful to our clientele, is getting on Zoom, like we are, sharing screen, walking through, all right, look at this, look at that, here's what you want to do, here's where you want to buy from too, because sometimes it comes down to customer service. If there's a problem, you want to be able to fix that problem, and with as little hoops to jump through as possible. So that's the type of thing that we try to bring to the table to folks, and kind of just and then the decision's yours, but it's really making sure we're putting people on the right track toward those things.
And my tips for you is the more technology you have, the more chances that it's not going to work. And anything that you run off of power, remember, if there's a power outage, those things aren't going to work. So the less things that work by power, the better you are, because when the power, unless you have a full house generator, they're not going to work when the power goes out. And we do live in Rhode Island,
Yeah,
so that happens often. So remember that.
yeah, and
Where do you service, Matt?
those whole home generators are absolute lifesavers. They really are. And so if you're lucky enough to be able to afford one of those and maintain it every year, because there is maintenance involved, those are absolute necessity to somebody that's living with some extreme medical challenges, of course. But even if if there's isolation challenges, where you're kind of out in the boonies a little bit, and people can't get to you quickly, like
Yeah.
Burrowville.
Well, I'll tell you, the home modification grant covers generators. So if you're in a power wheelchair like me, I can't charge my wheelchair when I have no power. So my generator is my life, because I need my medication completely cold all the time. I need, power wheelchair. I need my stair lift. I need all of my stuff. So I have one, but you can use the home modification grant here in Rhode Island. We're the only state that has it as of right now, for that. And Matt can help you walk you through the home modification grant. So that was a good lead in.
Yeah, it was. And I'll tell you, that grant is another game changer for people. So the criteria and the grant itself is really just a form. It's super, super easy to fill out. You need a couple basic qualifiers. One is that your if it's for you as an individual, your income is less than $78,600. You have a qualified medical professional sign off on your needs for, so walk-in shower, roll-in shower, generator, grab bars, ramps, uh, chairlifts, the whole 9 yards is all on there accessibility wise. And there's even a spot for other if there's something that they're not covering. So then you have a contractor like myself who work all the time with the state, and we fill out our form and that's it. So it's really that simple. And with a project like a bathroom renovation or a tub to shower conversion or something like that, you can take advantage of that full $4,000 reimbursement at the end of the project. You could, if it's not quite, if it's not 8,000 or above, if it's less than that, then it's 50% of the project. So again, if it's like $6,000 project, you get $3,000 reimbursement. The best thing is you can use it multiple times. It's not a one and done scenario. So you want to put a generator in this year, great. And then after that loan is paid out to, is paid out to you, or not loan, I mean, the grant is paid out to you. You can do the next project, which might be a bathroom, which might be a ramp. So you can take advantage of it multiple times. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And it's really there to help people that are, in this spot where they're looking at, assisted living, which is, can be anywhere from, $5,000 to $10,000 a month, easy. So I mean, those are the situations that people look at. And again, it comes down to planning ahead, and that can't be, I mean, that you just can't overstate that enough, is that planning ahead is so key. So if you're a caregiver or you are that individual that is, kind of looking at, hey, I'm retired and I have some medical issues and things like that, what your goal could be to stay in your home and take advantage of something like that grant. And the other flip side of it is, obviously, if you are going into assisted living, which I've never heard anybody be excited about, even though there are some great assisted living communities in Rhode Island, some fantastic communities, but it's usually not something that someone's looking forward to. And I'll tell you what, the price tag, a year in assisted living versus doing modifications to your homes, I mean, it's not even comparable.
And that's exactly why Rhode Island is a leader with this home modification grant, because we know that price tag. We've saved the state over $6 million reoccurring every year by keeping people home and out of the nursing homes or the hospitals or the assisted livings or wherever else that they need to be. So it's a great program to use. So utilize it. And like I said, Matt is only on my show because Home Mobility Pros is vetted and we trust them. We love them. We know them. We work with them a lot. If we didn't, they wouldn't be on the show, because I feel if I can't stand behind them, I'm not going to let anybody else go that route. But Matt is great. You definitely need to reach out to him. Matt, tell everybody where you service. What is your service area?
So we serve all of Rhode Island, and then we go up to 495 in Massachusetts, so southeastern Mass, and we work with the programs in Massachusetts too. It's not quite the same as Rhode Island, but they do have some programs as well. And each town may have a program that helps as well. So again, we try to be a great resource for folks, whether it's helping to pay for that. Or it could be, as simple as, is if it's not in our wheelhouse, who can we get them to that can help them with their situation? And that person is also, or team is also vetted by Tina, and is definitely a good resource as well. So.
Yeah. All right. What are we missing, Matt? What do people need to know that we haven't talked about yet? What is like some of the key points that people need to know that they may not know if they're not in the situation yet?
Well, I think it's patience. I think patience comes to mind. When you're going through this, a lot of people, they just really, they're really overwhelmed with the process of doing something in their home, and making that that big change, and of course you're shelling out a lot of money. So it's an anxiety ridden time in your life. And so when you're dealing with a contractor who is just like, pay me and I'll be there and I'll do the work, Well, that's not us. You know, we're along the ride with you and trying to help and guide you and ease that anxiety and ease that process. And I think that's very important when you're looking at a general contractor to work with. Is going to be somebody that's just going to collect my money and not talk to me again, or is it going to be someone that's going to maybe handhold a little bit if you need it? And of course, those are the types of things that we bring to the table. And of course, the folks that we work with, you know, they're all very happy for it because it comes down to making sure that you're on the same page and that someone on the other end is being heard of what they're trying to accomplish. And then on our side, sometimes it's adding a little bit of our expertise to the table as well and really making you think about something, but not getting overwhelmed with that, having the patience to go through it, digest it, talk about it, and then ultimately execute it.
I remember one story of me standing with you or me sitting next to you at the home show last year when a woman approached us talking about how she started trying to get all of these grants and all of this process, and she was so overloaded and trying to track people down and everything, and how frustrated she was. So she was going to sit and listen to your thing because she was just so overwhelmed, and how at ease you put her within like 5 minutes. And like she had that aha moment, like, oh, if I go with somebody that's going to walk me through everything, this makes it so much easier. And you can help me with all the things that I've already messed up with and make it better along the way. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, we're on our third project with them. So those are the types of things that I love. I mean, I enjoy what I do very, very much, and going above and beyond for folks and really bird dogging what they're looking for and trying to find it online, and really it comes down to sometimes people are really, really savvy and sometimes they're not when it comes to shopping for the things that are needed for your bathroom. And if I'm not the expert, I have no problem, I have no ego to say, hey, here's the person you should go talk to and who has more expertise on this. I mean, it really just depends on, it's listening to them, figuring out their goals, and then getting them on the right track, and just us being patient, them being patient with the whole process, and understanding, hey, there's a lot of things, a lot of people out there that really want to help you and help you guide through these types of situations, because it's a big anytime you do something in your house like that, and especially with the amount of money that usually goes involved with renovations, it's a lot. And I say renovations, but I mean, even if someone's putting in a few grab bars or a ramp, I mean, sometimes that's a lot of money for somebody, and a big change to their house aesthetically, that they might say, you know what, that's overwhelming to me to see grab bars in my house. And to me, it's like, well, sometimes you meet people like you need these things. Like this could be, you falling and being placed in assisted living or a nursing home. That's the difference. And so it's really calming the people down to say, hey, you know what, these are the things that could really benefit you, and here are the options, and here are the folks that are here to help you and guide you through that. And again, we have some great partners that are very, very well equal minded in that sense, and that patience as well, which is great. So Rhode Island has a lot of great accessibility related contractors out there that really do take the time and care about what we're trying to do for the people that are looking to do these things. So.
And if you want to know who they are, just pay attention and watch my show, because they're all on my show at some point, because they wouldn't be on my show if they weren't. But this is exactly why we partner with Home Mobility Pros, because I don't know everything. Like when people start asking me questions, they think because I'm in a wheelchair, I know it all. I don't. I know what works for me, but I don't know what works for other disabilities or aging or something else. So I'll just say, here, call Matt. I give out Matt's number probably at least 5 to 10 times a day, because I don't know the answers, and Matt is very good about giving them, and vice versa. Matt will either give out my number or he'll give out somebody else's number if he doesn't know the answer. So we're the type of people who, if we don't know it, we'll find it. But be patient with us, because I'll tell you, I'd rather somebody be like that than tell you all of this stuff that does not make sense and it is not true, just so that they have an answer for you. I'll be straight up with you. I don't know. Here's the person that will. And if he doesn't, he will know a person that will. So that's what's important. And that's what you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, and those people, you know, when we do those accessibility related projects, I mean, those are the people that really understand Ramp's mission when they go out and they look at these businesses and these you know places all throughout Rhode Island that really have terrible accessibility, and they might think they have checked the boxes, but when someone's there and actually utilizing and using these things, and what you do going in there to really give them a bird's eye view of perspective of it, you know, it really does open people's eyes, and people's eyes are opened when they are in that situation, if they haven't been before, to really understand what the world is like for accessibility, not just their own home. And that's something that, you know, is a big mission we're proud to be a part of with you as we look at, you know, this whole state and beyond as far as accessibility is concerned.
Yeah, people are amazed of how many bathrooms that I actually can't. They're like, it's accessible. Look at the just because they put a picture of that pretty little person in a wheelchair on the door does not make it accessible. If the bathroom door
Yeah.
opens in, you're not closing that bathroom door to go to the bathroom. So you get to go to the bathroom with everybody who decides to come in after you and watching you. There are
Which is
so many
fun.
minor things. Yeah, there are so many minor things that can be done that people don't even realize that makes the spaces, if they're not usable, they're not accessible. So you can have all the right square footage and all the wrong order. It is not an accessible bathroom, which means it's not accessible. You know, you can put all the pretty little stickers you want on it or call it whatever you want, but if it's not usable, it's not accessible.
Right. And to steal your phrase, accessibility is beautiful, and it can be. And if you do it right, which is what we do, you know, you will leave there looking like I didn't even, you know, didn't even realize, like you said about your bad, I didn't realize this was, you know, air quotes handicap accessible. It really comes down to, you know, you can make something very, very beautiful and very nonchalant, but still have it be very accessible and really set up for the future if there's more extreme measures that need to be taken to increase that accessibility and make sure that you're safe and sound in your home or in the business world out there, and make sure you're taking care of people. So that's what it's all about, and proud to, you know, be part of that mission with you.
Well, accessibility is beautiful. Talking about that, we all know that we have our big annual event. It's September 23rd this year at the Steel Yard. Farm Fresh is invited into it as well. So we're taking over the whole corner. But Matt and hopefully Mike will be there too, but definitely Matt will be down there, you know, giving out advice, giving out information, giving out things, networking, walking around with his cute little hat on, his Home Mobility Pro hat on, walking around talking to everybody, not having a table, but walking around talking to everybody. And that's more important, that he can spend the time with you talking about everything, and maybe doing some demonstrations and stuff. We haven't figured that out yet, but he will definitely be at Accessibility is Beautiful in September. So we are looking for that. And like I said, one of these days I will post a picture of my bathroom when I actually remember to do it, and show you how beautiful my bathroom is. And it doesn't look like it's accessible, but it's fully accessible to me. And that's the important things. Tell everybody how to reach you and how to contact you.
Yeah, so you can reach me by phone 401-375-2790. Our website is homemobilitypros.com. We have, you'll see our Google reviews. We have all 5-star reviews. We have plenty of references, beside, you know, outside of Tina herself, you know, that can vouch for our work and how we are as people and as a company and what we believe in. You can also reach me email, matt@homemobilitypros.com. So it's very, very simple. But yes, we do free assessments. We can come out and analyze a project for you, give you, you know, if all you're looking for is ballpark, just to know where, you know, where these things are, happy to have a conversation with you over the phone. If you want to go take that next step to really make it a custom estimate for you, that's a free assessment to come out, and we'll provide that as well. And of course, if you need resources on how to pay for it, anything like that, We offer financing, we offer credit card payment, obviously cash and check, but we have plenty of opportunities to work with folks in the state of Rhode Island. We work a ton with the VA and their grants, so we're experts in those grants as well. So if you are a veteran, we are a contractor is very familiar with their process as well. So you're in good hands.
You are definitely in good hands. And if you forgot how to contact Matt, you can always reach out to me because I have him on speed dial. Email, I can give that to you right off the top of my head because I use it so often. So if you forgot everything that he told you, but I did put it down in the chat below, so you'll be able to see all of his contact information below. Reach out to me and I can make sure that you get hooked up with them. But I'll tell you, if you're just in the beginning processes of doing this, reach out to Matt, get a free assessment. If you've already picked somebody and you are having second thoughts, call Matt. Never hurts to get a second opinion. You would do it if it was a medical thing. Definitely get a second opinion. They actually welcome it because you never know what could be done or done differently that might meet your criteria even better. So if you wouldn't do it, medically, make sure you do it with your home repairs because again, they're very expensive. They're permanent for quite some time. Make sure you're doing it right the first time so you don't have to fix it. It's so much easier doing it right the first time than it is to go back and refix it later. Correct, Matt?
Yeah, that's one of the worst things you hear is I wish I met you sooner, and hearing contractor horror stories of people that don't do a good job, don't call people back, take deposits and run. I mean, there's a lot of homework that needs to be done when you're looking at a contractor to work with, unfortunately. And when you call us, we get back to you within 24 hours, and that's the way it is. And of course, we show up when we say we are, and we do the work, and we stand behind it. So there's a lot of good things that come with working with a professional contractor that has a great reputation, and that we're not the guy in the rusty red pickup, that that is the cheapest guy in town, and there's a reason for that. So you got to look at, would you buy the cheapest car on the lot? Probably not. So that's where where you're at with a professional company like ours.
And highly recommended by RAMP. So that's the important thing. Now we're nearing the end of the show, Matt. Give everybody your 1 to 2 minute plug of why Home Mobility Pros. Here is your 2 minutes of fame. Where's your elevator pitch?
Oh, my elevator pitch. Oh boy, this is me on the spot. Home Mobility Pros, I mean, we are a full service contractor. We specialize in bathrooms. Accessibility is our niche. We can do it all though. So we are glad to work with anybody, that is either, doing something for a loved one, somebody is doing something for themselves, planning for the future, whatever it may be. We're here to be a resource for you. We're here to guide you through the process patiently, and we're here to listen to your goals, and we're here to help execute those goals, and we're going to deliver on that promise. So if you hire us, if you reach out to us, you're going to get quality people and quality service and just an overall great experience. So, but keep us in mind for any type of bathroom project, accessibility related or not, or any type of interior remodeling project. Just keep us in mind.
And give us that contact information one more time.
401-375-2790. That's how you reach me directly. HomeMobilityPros.com. It's got all our information on it. Matt@homemobilitypros.com if you want to send me an email. But if you forget all that and you didn't write it down, it's all good. You just contact Tina.
Yeah, because like I said,
my agent Tina.
Yeah, I literally have them on speed dial. I use them quite often, and that's anybody who's on my show. They will not be on my show. They will not be promoted by me if they do not meet all of that criteria. Thank you so much, Mike, for telling everybody about Home Mobility Pros. We are so honored to be partnered with you. Can't wait to see you again at Accessibility is Beautiful. When I get out of the house, I will see you before that.
Yeah, I see you.
So
I'll come to you if that's the case.
That's true. He knows where I live. He drops off cards to me quite often. So it's all good. So reach out. But thank you again for taking the time tonight to be on our show. We are always so blessed to have you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
And we want to welcome everybody back next week, next Wednesday night. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. If you see this face, we have another resource that we will be talking about. I am blanking at the moment of who we have on our show next week, but I'm sure they're fabulous because they always are. But as I always say, if you don't just sit there, make a difference and make somebody smile every single day. Have a great night, everybody.